I need you to really understand that what is proactivity? And I want you to be as proactive as possible, because being proactive is all about being able to plan ahead, being able to set the right kind of disciplines and routines in place to make sure that you're always one step ahead of yourself, one step ahead of others, and so that you feel in control of your life, and it will enable you to make fewer mistakes on a continual basis. It will enable you to be more productive, more efficient, and over time this will increase your self-esteem, your belief within yourself, and thus ultimately create new pathways for you to really succeed and to grow exponentially. So what am I saying? It's the importance of planning ahead. It's the importance of doing what's important. Importance of doing what's important. Yeah. All right. Bit of repetition, but it makes sense. So what do I mean by doing what's important? Well, that's subjective, isn't it? What you think is important might be vastly different to what I believe is important. So I'm going to outline a few things that are important to me, so I can start to give you some examples of what's important and what's urgent, and why you need to do more of what's important on a daily basis and less of what's urgent. Because the masses, most people out there, live their lives in being reactive, being distracted, constantly being shocked and surprised by things that are urgent. That's like, did you do that deadline? No, I forgot all about that project. Damn it! And someone will get in contact with you. Are you going to be able to make it later to the event we have planned? Oh crap! I forgot all about that. Oh no! I'm not ready. I've got so many things to do. You don't want to be constantly reactive. You don't want to be constantly shocked and surprised by things and caught off guard. That exacerbates stress. That makes you feel like you don't have control in your life. That leads to all signs of problems. Eating unhealthily, getting involved in addictions, your neurotransmitters won't fire. I'm not going to go down that path. It's incredible, but it's not that kind of video. So instead, we need to teach ourselves to constantly focus on what's important. And essentially, in order to do that, guys, if you're someone who you think you struggle with this and you don't feel like you're always doing the things you need to do, instead you're doing the things you want to do, one way you can do that is to focus on changing your habits. Now, it can take between 66 days to 365 days, to transform a behavior into a habit and to transform it and ingrain it within our unconscious. That can take time. But it's all a process, and it's going to take discipline. It's going to take hard work initially to set up that change. But once you get into it, after 66 days and so on, statistics show, you're going to be able to do it at will. You're going to do it effortlessly, easily, and you'll be able to focus on other things, slowly improving one habit at a time within your life until you've really developed momentum and a quality lifestyle that really supports your primary goals. So let's take a step back. So I'm about to give you some examples of what is important to me, and so that you can start to think about what's important to you. So what's important to me are things like my family. What's important to me is my self-esteem. What's important to me is my business. What's important to me are my investments. What's important to me is learning, because when you learn, it improves your health, it improves your cognitive function. You want to look after your brain, you want to become healthy, and so on and so forth. So I gave you like 4 or 5 examples there of things that are important to me. So what my goal is to do at least one thing. I learned this from Tony Robbins in his RPM system, which is all about it's like his version of a to-do list. And what he says is that instead of creating hundreds of different things to do on a daily basis, that's going to lead to overwhelm, it's going to lead to stress, it's going to lead to you feeling like you can never stay on track of things on a daily basis, thus ruining your kind of self-esteem, because you feel like you're never doing the things that you want to accomplish on a daily basis. And instead, we need to focus on what's important. So say I mentioned my health being something important to me. So every day, I want to do at least one thing that supports the quality of my health, whether it be eating a salad, eating foods that support your brain function, whether it be meditating, whether it be making sure I sleep well, and thus, stay on path as it relates to my eating, making sure I exercise more often in certain ways to get certain results that I'm after, all these sorts of things. Another thing that's important to me is my business. So when I wake up, the first few hours especially, I do the hardest thing for the day as it relates to my business. That enables me to remain focused, accomplish something big in the morning before the afternoon, the evening kicks in, and sometimes when more distractions lie ahead for most people. You tend to socialize more as the day progresses. Yeah, makes sense. So instead, I like to attack the most important thing today for my business, the very first thing for the first few hours in the day. So that's important to me. My business is one of the most important things in the world to me. And that's why I prioritize it and I work on it every single day. Same thing with my relationships. Our relationships are muscles as well. You want to improve the quality of your relationships with others. And you can do that by putting time aside to give them quality time to your friends, your family, your peers, your colleagues, even whoever's like really close to you, whatever's important. And what I mean by this is quality time, not length, not like we're here at this event in this social gathering for 2-3 hours, that counts as quality time. No, it's not quality time. Your body's there, but your mind's not. Quality time could just be 10 minutes, but it's the most focused quality 10 minutes, and it means a lot to people. So it could be a phone call to your parents, it could be a phone call to a sibling, to a close friend, for instance, and you're giving them concentrated time where you're not focusing on other things, where your brain's not switched on and half listening, something that I used to be, that I'm very good at actually, but it's something that I force myself not to do. I'm always in the present moment when I'm communicating with like a loved one or a close friend and so on and so forth. And I'm constantly listening to the words that they're sharing, and I'm constantly thinking about conveying that I understand them, because that's what people want. People want to be understood. And that's what makes people feel connected, when they feel understood, not when they understand you. And this is key. Dr. Stephen Covey teaches that, first seek to understand, not to be understood. And that's a key component to strengthening the quality of your relationships with people. So essentially, I want you to write down a few things that are important to you. And I want you to think of either set times every single day where you work on that. The example of exercising, meditating in the morning, working on my business first thing in the morning for the first few hours. Wherever it is, everyone's got different schedules, everyone's got different priorities and lifestyles. So write down maybe, or block out some time every single day for the different important things for you in your life. And as long as you keep doing that on a daily basis, then what you'll notice is that the urgent things that tend to pop up for most people, they tend to pop up less for you, because you've got things so balanced and you're so organized in important areas for you that rarely urgent matters will seep in to your daily plan, because you tend to have most things covered. Does that make sense? You're proactive. You've been planning ahead. You always set so much time for important things. Like, you're not wasting time just watching countless movies over and over again. You're not wasting time going out for 5, 6, 7 hours when you could have just gone out for a couple of hours. Do you know what I mean? You're being very focused, very productive, very efficient, making sure you're very balanced and so on and so forth. And that's what leads to people becoming highly successful and highly happy. And even if urgent matters are to pop up, like things that are not within your control, what you'll notice is that you've been working on so many important things that you are better able mentally, psychologically, to deal with these new urgent things, because you've got everything else in place. It's not gonna, what happens for most people is they're so reactive all the time in their lives, and they're not really being proactive and planning ahead, and not really being a long-term thinker, that they'll be disturbed by an urgent matter, and it will kind of smash all their priorities out the window for the day. They'll be flustered, they'll be chaotic, there'll be no clarity. They won't be able to get back on track easily. And because their emotions have been startled and so on and so forth, they won't be able to get focused and to get back to their routine, because there isn't a routine. But if you've got a routine, you've taught your unconscious that this is the routine, this is what you do on most days to keep you plugging forward, moving forward, keeping focused, building momentum and so on and so forth, then when something urgent comes along, it's not going to rattle. Your foundation is too strong. Your center is too strong. It won't affect you emotionally as much as it would do to most other people. So start thinking about what's important to you, and start thinking about how you can block it and schedule these things within your day-to-day life. Start to work on changing your subconscious programming, your habits, by rigidly and employing great discipline, by focusing on these things every single day until it becomes habitual, until it becomes second nature. Okay, so if you found this of value, you want to know more, make sure you head on over to my website at www.alexgem.com. simply click join PHS today. That's my incredible course. My bonuses are ridiculously good as well. Hours of exclusive video footage, podcast material, and 100 segments of things that you can implement on a daily basis to improve the quality of your life, your health, your levels of success, to have more energy, to become more productive, to become a happier and calmer and more giving human being. That's ultimately the most important thing in our lives, isn't it? Nice rhetorical question to finish there. So make sure you like this video if you found it of great value, and I can't wait to work with you. See you soon.